It took a while, despite the fact that Title IX had passed, to get the kind of funding that we needed for the women's teams. We were still playing with uniforms that were used in physical education classes. And then what we decided to do was to change the required uniform to kilts instead of tunics. And we used to use the Velcro to put numbers on. And then slowly we started to get some funding from the student government at the college because that's where most of the funding came for the athletic program at that time. Later on, of course, it was an assessment of all students for that. There were obstacles, of course, use of facilities. We didn't have the beautiful Woodward Center at the time. We had the Parenzo Gym. So we had to share that with all the other teams, men's teams especially, and they had priority. So we would squeeze in a practice when we could. Traveling, we didn't have the luxury that they have now, but we used to drive the students to events. Most of it was, what was strange is that I reflect back and say, we kind of accepted it. This was the way it was, but yet we thought, and we knew that, it's not the same. It's not the same experience, and women need to have that kind of experience. And we had to develop the interest because sometimes the women that were attending Westfield State had not had any sports experience before they arrived. So the first year when I said we're going to have a field hockey team, I had only 10 players. That was the very first time. The following year, Dottie Zanotti became a faculty member. Unfortunately, she was with us for just 1 year and then left us to go to Springfield, and she coached the field hockey team and had a successful season. We just did it because we loved to do it, and it was all volunteer. We were not paid. The coaches of the men's teams received a stipend, as well as they were considered part of the faculty. The women were hired not to coach, but to teach, and voluntarily gave up their own time in order to coach because they believed women needed that opportunity here. They were teaching faculty. I'll go back and hopefully I can remember the years when they were hired, but what happened was that Marie Duffy, who was a student of mine at Salem State College, where I taught previously, became a member of the faculty, and she ended up coaching basketball also. Carol Vermillion arrived at the same time that Marie did, and she was interested in volleyball, and she did that. Martha Van Allen replaced Dottie Zanotti. When Dottie Zanotti went to Springfield, Martha came to us from Springfield, and she coached tennis, helped me with field hockey at one point, and softball as well as teaching full-time again. Eventually, we started to have a stipend. We also supervised the intramural program, which became quite popular, and I believe it still is, involving so many students into that sport experience, which is important. And Tom Tierney was one of the students, and he chaired the intramural council and was instrumental in making sure that the communities within Western Mass adhered to Title IX. So it was so much was happening at once. It was exciting. It was hard work. And by the way, we also chaperoned the cheerleaders when the men had an away game somewhere.
You worked so hard to get everything kind of in order at Westfield State. You're laying that foundation, you're starting the programs, you're finding people to participate and to volunteer. Who are you playing? Like what other colleges in the area?
What we did is, having been at Salem State and knowing faculty in physical education departments at the other state institutions, we got together I don't know who initiated it. I think we kind of all said, hey, we should do something. So we started the Women's State College Athletic Association. We even drew up bylaws and things like that. And we started scheduling games with each other. I know Peg Nugent at Worcester State was very active in it. Mary Lou Thornburg at Bridgewater State. We just did it. We just did it on our own. Yeah, I keep thinking back to experiences, and I'm glad I had those experiences, and I'm glad to see the growth, but I'm not satisfied yet. There's more to be done. There's more to be done. But it can be done, but it shouldn't take 50 years, another 50. Yeah.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
Golly, I hope not.
Well, time goes by fast.
It does.
It's amazing. It doesn't look like 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you were beginning your career now, as a student athlete or as a professional, 2022, what role would you pursue?
What I did. Mm-hmm. What I did. Teaching. To me, teaching and coaching are almost the same. Except when I'm teaching, it's knowledge relative to a certain area. But to me, the learning, the growth of the student. I use coaching the same way I want that student to grow. As an athlete, yes, but also as a person. I've served in administrative positions, but that's not my thing. My thing is individual contact with the student or the athlete. That interaction to me is very important. And I feel I can contribute to it. And make that kid grow. And I say kids, because they are. I'm 86 years old, so. But I would do it the same way again. Probably go to law school earlier, but that choice wasn't there for me growing up. I never intended to practice law, but I wanted to apply it to my teaching. Because I was in physical education. Mm-hmm. I think I would probably do it the same way.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Right.
On behalf of all the hundreds of thousands of student athletes that have had opportunities here in the 50 plus years, thank you.
Well,
we're still working on it.
I know,
but
but that's okay. You're working on it, and that's the important
Great programs,
you haven't
great
given
student
up.
athletes, great coaches.
I marvel. Did I ever expect to see that beautiful gymnasium, the facilities? No. But most of all, I am so encouraged by the two of you and what you have accomplished, because it gives me faith that we're still moving forward. Little did I believe, like watching women play in Madison Square Garden, or watching them on television, or in leadership positions like the two of you. So
thank you.
I feel very confident that things are going ahead.
They are. Thank you, Tilly.
Thank
you
you,
very much
Tilly.
for being
Okay.
here. Thank you, Marlee. We look forward to celebrating 50 years of Title IX in the year going forward. Hope to see you at more events.